And good morning. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Cloud Chats. It is September 9th, 2021. This is episode 28, titled Hacktoberfest 2021, TikTok versus YouTube and Botnets. Ooh, Botnets.
Ooh.
I'm your host, Mason Egger, and this is Chris and Kim. And I got it right, and it's only because Matt's not here. Let's
Hello.
be honest.
Yes, Matt is taking the week off, and
Yes.
we want him to do that. So
He
can
need-
taking the week off, but I see him everywhere still.
Yeah. Matt's off, but Matt won't log off of Slack.
So he's not off.
Yeah.
Matt, if you're watching, turn this off. Go for a walk.
Yes, go for a walk, take a break.
Now we can talk about him.
Now we can talk about him like he's not here.
Hey, Ricardo.
Yeah, good morning.
Hey.
Hey,
Okay.
Shang in the chat. Side note, I just watched Shang-Chi last
Oh,
night.
how was it?
Really good. Fight scene's fantastic. Very.
Is that the
very-
new Marvel movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to go see it. Okay, that sounds fun. Fantastic.
I've heard it was very good.
I've heard
All right,
that too.
I have a cat on my desk that I need to
Relocate. Show us the kitty. Show us
This
the kitty.
This is Bauman. She is
Bauman.
chewing on my cords.
They do
So
that. They
Hopefully
do
she'll
that.
go away.
I had a rabbit one year, and he got 2 mice and a keyboard.
Oh dang. I
Yeah.
have heard other people with rabbits say that they've chewed through like their power cords and mice. So
Fantastic. So let's go ahead and
Shang-
get into
Shang, don't
our.
worry, we're not spoiling anything.
We're not going to spoil. We're not going to
Oh, yeah.
spoil this.
no spoilers.
Well, let's go ahead and get into our Hello World question today. First off, tell us where you're listening from. Definitely love knowing where you're coming from. But today's episode, or I guess today's question, comes from our meeting this week. It's if you could bring back a TV show that has ended or was canceled or anything whatsoever, and this can be Netflix. We're not talking about like network television. What television show would it be?
And you can't use the answer you had from our last time we did this.
Oh, that's not fair.
Chris,
It's totally fair.
now I don't know.
Yeah, now you know how Matt feels.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, we immediately have someone said Firefly, which is good.
Classic.
Game of Thrones. I'd like them to come back and redo that last season, for sure. And we are getting like Game of Thrones spinoffs, which are apparently coming, and they're in production right now, so that's interesting.
Oh, that is interesting.
Okay, if I can't pick, I'd have to say I was a big fan of the TV show House when I was a kid growing up, about the grumpy doctor who solved weird medical mysteries, and I would love to see that come back just because I love Hugh Laurie. I think he's an amazing actor, and I feel like that show ended probably at the right time for it, but it would be really interesting to see a reboot come back.
Didn't they have like 30 seasons?
8.
30.
Okay.
No, this isn't Supernatural. This isn't Supernatural. No, 30. You're thinking of like Grey's Anatomy. Grey's Anatomy is still going, and I think it's on like season like 20 something. So yeah.
Ricardo says Family Ties, Top Gear, and Alf.
Oh yeah.
Alf.
My dad would agree with some of those. Yeah. I don't know this Vicar of Dibley. I don't know that TV show. Kim,
Oh,
what
I
about
thought-
you?
I thought Toon Army Captain was saying that's where he's coming in from, but he says Texas earlier. And
Yeah.
of course, we know Toon Army Captain.
Yeah.
Okay, so I liked
Mash.
my answer. I liked my answer for our team meeting, which is I would like to see a spin-off of Peggy from Mad Men. But since I can't say that, well, I just said it. I just rewatched The Good Place again, and at the very last season, Tahani becomes a good place architect, and I assume Michael, who's played by Ted Danson, is still an eternal being. So I wouldn't mind a spin-off to see what they're up to.
Ted Danson.
So, yeah. It says, Toon Army Captain says, Vicar of Dibley is a British comedy. We probably should have picked that up from the term vicar.
Vicar. Yeah, that's definitely not an American word for sure. What about you, Chris?
No, Community. I know they had their they got brought on for their 6th season by, I think it was Yahoo, like randomly, but
Mm-hmm.
and everybody there is so I don't know. At least Childish Gambino probably not coming back, but that would be fun to see again.
Definitely.
Maybe we could convince our CEO to have a division of DigitalOcean that takes on beloved TV shows that have been canceled.
It would be really fun. I'm surprised I didn't. I'm surprised I said the 2 answers that I did, because I just realized the one that I'm waiting for, and every time there's a rumor, I get super excited. I'm waiting on King of the Hill to get rebooted.
Oh, dang.
Texas comedy. There's been rumors. Mike Judge wants to do it, and they want to. It's not like just a continuation. It would be like the characters would age, and I don't know. Like I don't know if that's the Texas in me or what, but like I love that show. It's probably because I know everybody in that show. Like I know people like that all over the place. So it's kind of like whenever engineers watch the Silicon Valley show and they're like, "This hits too close to home." I'm like,
Yeah. I have some friends in tech who are like, Silicon Valley is too on the nose for me. It makes me feel so uncomfortable. I can't enjoy it.
I have a lot of friends like that. I think it's hilarious because I love looking at the absurdities of our industry and just laughing at them.
Yeah. Well, let's say hey to some people we haven't said hey to. So we've got Tuna Army Captain from Texas. Thank you for joining us again. Rashid from Tunisia. Welcome.
Ooh.
Glad to have you. We have Teknath from Bhutan, which is awesome. Let's see. I think that's all the locations we got. I hope I didn't miss anyone.
We got Prague up higher.
Oh, Jacob.
Jacob.
Hello, Jacob. I think we've seen you before. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're glad to have you all.
Speaking of reboots, the Matrix Resurrections trailer just came out.
I saw that on YouTube yesterday. I was like, is this a parody?
That was the teaser, and the trailer came out this morning. But
Ooh, okay.
If you go and get the GitHub repo for the teaser site.
What?
Because
there's a GitHub repo for the teaser site?
So the video from yesterday was like it was like 6:07. Is this real? 6:08. Is this real? They actually made it one for every minute of the day. And you can find them all in the GitHub repo.
All right.
Oh, okay.
We'll have to find that, and
we'll have to find that later in the segment.
I can drop a link.
Yeah, we have more people coming in.
Oh, excellent!
Victor coming in from, I guess it's Johannesburg. I have no idea where that's at, but I don't know where a lot of places are at, so that's nothing new. Johnny's coming in from the Philippines. Benjamin coming in from Nigeria. Shang is coming in from Myanmar, and the Mike Anderson is coming in from Sweden. Well, fantastic. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, we always have a really global audience. It's really great to see everyone here. So let's go ahead and move into the news. And I have to change the banner because Matt normally changes the banner, and I have to do that today. So this is our normal weekly segment where we talk about the news and all of the fun things that are going on. Talking about releases, current things that are going on, things that just grabbed our eye. And when you hear this sound, it means we're moving on to the next item. So in a recent way that we've been doing this, let's talk about the releases this week. So our first release is Podman. Podman has been ported to the Apple M1 chips. If you are unaware of what Podman is a daemonless container engine for developing, managing, and running OCI containers on your Linux system. So the fact that it's now ported to Apple M1, it's pretty awesome. Containers can either be run as root or in a rootless mode. And on their website, it says, simply put, Docker equals Podman. So you can use Podman as kind of like a drop-in replacement for Docker. For those of you that are unaware, Docker is what's known as I think it's OCI, right, Kim? It's an OCI container.
Yes, Open Container Initiative.
Yes. So Docker is not the only container image. There's OCI, there's Cryo, there's Kata containers, and a lot of other ones. But Podman is a drop-in replacement, and this is pretty cool to see.
Cool. So now Podman was available to a lot of operating systems, but now it's available for Mac with the M1 chip.
Yeah. So, awesome. And like the article just links straight to the source code, and I guess it looks pretty cool. I don't know anything about writing system code for Mac, so I looked at it, but I was like, I don't get this. I don't even know what language that is, to be honest. I wonder if it's just because it's got classes in it.
What's the file
dot
extension?
.rb.
Ruby?
Yeah, it looks like it.
I think
Is
it's
that-
homebrew. Homebrew's in Ruby.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that would make sense. Okay, our next story is from Kubernetes. API deprecation in Kubernetes 1.22 that will impact your operators. So there have been API calls that have been deprecated for quite a while that are finally being removed in Kubernetes 1.22. So if you're unaware of how Kubernetes makes modifications, is that they will deprecate certain API calls for, I guess, a good period of time. I don't know if is there a set number of releases for that, Kim? Like for how long something is deprecated?
I don't know if there's a standard set of releases, but I think those got deprecated in like 1.16, 1.17. So they give you they give you a long period of seeing warnings where they'll say like, hey, this API is going to be removed in version 122. So if you're like me, you've been running into these warnings for a while, but if you upgrade to 122, it's not even going to be an error. It's just going to break. So 121 to 122 for Kubernetes is very similar from the 115 to 116 upgrade, which broke a lot of things. So if you're a Kubernetes operator or you develop applications in Kubernetes, I would just look through your code and see, do I have any CRDs, or am I using any of these webhook configurations or the certificate signing request, and address those before you upgrade.
Fantastic. That's really, I like how they do that. I like how they deprecate for a long period of time and they give you a chance and they're like, hey, it's going to break. And then it allows you to move on. And I assume they either replace it with new ones or they always give good documentation as like what you should do if you need to upgrade.
Totally. There's a leaf blower right outside my window. So if you can hear it, that's what's going on. Like
Fantastic.
literally, like I can see the person in my peripheral vision.
Oh my goodness. Our next one is another Kubernetes-based release, and it seems that Nginx has reached version 1.0. So I guess Kubernetes, there are many different Kubernetes ingress controllers. I didn't know there was an Nginx-based one, but I'm not very well-versed in the Kubernetes space. And it appears that they have reached 1.0, and it is a breaking change. So, Kim, do you know anything about just Nginx ingress controller?
Yeah, that's sort of the like not sure default's quite the right word, but whenever I am looking for an ingress, I reach for ingress Nginx. And so it says ingress Nginx 1.0 is here with support for 1.22. So it looks like it's just more official. It's a breaking change. So before you upgrade to version 1.0, I would read through this set of release notes.
Interesting. Are there any interesting? Scroll down a little bit. Are there any interesting changes that just pop out of the change log? There's a lot of changes in the change log. So
I assume since it's a major release, that there's like some architectural changes. Those particular changes, I would have to look more closely.
I'm looking at one right now. Add configuration to disable external name service feature. Just reading random ones. Looks interesting. Congratulations on the 1.0 release.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's 1.0 is always a really big deal. It's always fun to see.
Yes.
Okay. And our next one is OpenWRT 21.02.0, the first stable release of the 21.02 series, which I forgot to write about. So what does that say, Kim? Are you still dealing with the leaf blower?
Zoom in.
I am. OpenWRT is proud to announce the first stable version. Wow, it incorporates 5,800 commits since the previous release. Okay, what is OpenWRT?
I've heard of this. It
says a Linux operating system targeting embedded devices.
Yeah. It's like don't you normally I think you can flash like your routers and stuff with this. Like I think this is yes, this is an open source framework for routers and such. So you can like I've known people who have like bought like maybe like a Cisco or a like Asus router, and they will flash it with OpenWRT and they will run their wireless networks and stuff from home.
I forgot about this. I did this back in the day. It used to be very specific about the router you had to pick. But fun times just hacking routers and stuff.
Initial release was January of 2004. So yeah, it's been around for 17 years now.
Oh, that sounds like a fun. I feel like I could play with this and maybe learn some things about networking and routing that I don't currently know.
You can, but let me tell you, this is a trap. This is a trap that leads to home labs. This is a trap that spends all your money and maxes out your credit cards. And you have to be wary of this. But you'll be happy and poor. I as someone who is currently stumbling back into his home lab, let me tell you, it's a trap. But yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Eric says open version of DDWRT. That one I remember a lot.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. I never did this.
Linksys.
Oh my god, I don't want to think about those anymore. I had those. I had a Linksys PoE access point in my apartment that, like clockwork, every 3 days would just stop working, and I had to reboot it. So yeah. Oh yeah, Neochromer here gets it. Oh, spent way too much on Raspberry Pis. That's how a home lab starts. 14. You're in for the long haul. I know people that have like racks of them, and they built like supercomputers, and I'm like, oh my goodness gracious.
When you have more than 5 Raspberry Pis, I think that's the sign.
Yeah, you may have a problem.
Chris is looking at his Raspberry Pi rack. I think.
I feel like I should go get them all and like fill in each square. And just have
that would be so fun.
How many do you have, Chris?
I mean, at least 10, I think.
What do you do with them?
Nothing. You just get hyped. You press buy, and then.
Oh, okay. So let's amend this to you have to have plugged them in to have a problem, because you're right. I have bought more Raspberry Pis that I have done nothing with. Like I'm like, oh, I would. That's why, R.I.P. Fry's. I used to walk into Fry's, and the first thing they would have, like in the center display, would be like mountains of Raspberry Pis. I'm like, oh, the 3 came out. I need it. Let me go put it in a drawer and never do anything with it.
My last one was pretty cool. I used it to basically. I have a bunch of like home devices. I hooked up Siri, Apple HomeKit to Nest. Using a Raspberry Pi, so now you could like tell Siri to control Nest stuff.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, it broke. The connection's gone. So
the thing that got me back into the home labbing is there was our old coworker Eddie Zaneski did a talk on Kubernetes and home automation and doing all of that. And I was like, oh, this looks so cool, and I'm gonna be so poor because of it. So. Anyway, moving on to our next story, because we see. I told even in this show, home lab is a trap. Like we didn't even get there. This is actually a really interesting story that I'm super excited about. TikTok overtakes YouTube for average watch time in the United States and the UK. Date from app monitoring firm App Annie, that's cute, indicates that average time per user spent on apps is higher for TikTok, indicating higher levels of engagement. App Annie characterized TikTok as having upended the streaming and social landscape. However, YouTube retains the top spot for overall time spent, not per user. I don't know. That was a weird mix of words. Words are hard, as it has many more users overall. So YouTube has more time, but of course, YouTube also has a much larger user base. The Google-owned video giant has an estimated 2 billion monthly users, while TikTok's most recent public figures suggested it had about 700 million in mid-2020. I will say I spend way more time on TikTok than I do on YouTube. Like I lay down before bed and I just doom scroll till 3 a.m. Like it's a great place to do stuff.
Easy. It's so much easier to watch 10 minutes of little videos than like 2 10-minute videos.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like it's 10 minutes. They're so short that it feels like I've only watched 3, and then 4 hours have passed, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, and I think the creativity is just exploding on TikTok. Like
it is
so fun.
It is absolutely amazing. And like I have a lot of people that are like, oh, you're on TikTok, and they're like, and I'm like, no, dude, you should go on it. It's way more entertaining.
I've never had somebody jump over and then regret it.
Yeah, never.
I just reinstalled the app like 2 weeks ago, and I never had an account. And so now I have an account. So the algorithm is studying me, and it's
starting to feed you.
I'm getting lots of good cat videos. I'm like, all right.
I literally messaged one of my coworkers one of our contractors, I message her more TikToks than I do work messages. I'll just be like, and it's always like cute animal photos or something. I think I sent her one yesterday. It's like this little pig eating cheese, and it's just so cute. Like,
but I will say,
their recommendation engine is fantastic.
It is.
Oh yeah, it's so good. But I have YouTube as an app on my television, and I actually just watch a lot of YouTube, kind of like TV, where I put it on in the background. So I think time-wise, I'm technically spending more time playing YouTube videos, but engagement-wise, like things that I'm looking at and like super engaged with, it's definitely TikTok.
Kim, you should put on your TV from YouTube cat watching videos, because I do that for my cats and they just like stare at birds and
oh yeah, I have put a few of those on, yeah, and they're like, huh?
I need to do that
high def videos of birds.
They're like giant.
I need to do that for my dog, because like I always see like I see on TikTok people are like, oh, I put on my dog's favorite TV show, and he just sits there. Like, my dog never watches TV. Like if I've ever tried to do a video call with him, like he doesn't acknowledge screens. So I've been wanting to get my dog addicted to television. So I don't know why, but
it's extremely 2021.
And that is going to be I think that's the weirdest thing I'll say all day today. So
I want to call out one thing from the chat is Yoginth.
Go ahead.
Saying, hey, someone's missing today. And I think we have a new nickname for Matt.
The Anon guy. I'm waiting for him to pop in and like say something in the chat, but he's probably not here. So
Matt's taking the week off, Yogan.
Yeah. Kudos, Matt, if you create a new account called the Anon guy and comment.
Yeah, I'd be like, I have IPv4. I can't remember. There's something else there. He also has IPv6. Like,
yeah. And our next story is about Twitter Superfollowers. So Twitter Superfollowers have rolled out. Superfollowers is a way for people's most engaged followers to help them earn money for their contributions on Twitter. When someone offers a Superfollower subscription, their Superfollowers can see bonus tweets created especially for them. Superfollowers receive badges on all of their replies to the person they've superfollowed, letting them stand out in conversations. So this seems like it's a mixture of it's like this is like Twitch followers meets Patreon. Yeah. Neo Trummer got it. It's Patreon Twitter edition.
Yeah, just be ready for, those, hey, this is how I made $100,000 in 10 hours, a thread, and then at the very bottom of the thread, super follow me. Just be prepared for this.
I love how we have to monetize everything.
I'm for it, right? Like, we're in the creator economy right now. And people should get paid for their quality stuff. So
yeah,
but I feel like it is just getting to a point where it's so much noise all over the place.
Yeah, it is. You know what? I don't know if I might turn it on. No one will follow me, but I'll make some fun content. Like,
I will say I support a lot of creators on Patreon, and it is like an extra account you have to set up, and I have like monthly payments are deducted, but I kind of like most of them are podcasters. Actually, I would much prefer in my podcast app to be like, do you want to support this creator, like $5 a month or whatever? So I think Twitter might be onto something, although I don't think I have any people on Patreon I support that I found exclusively on Twitter. So,
yeah, I'm also curious because YouTube also has, I don't know how long ago they're subscribed. Does anyone in chat subscribe to any YouTube channels?
You're talking about like the paid subscriptions?
Paid subscription for channels. Yeah,
I have not seen that. So not me.
Or Twitch subscriptions.
Twitch subscriptions are popular. Those are really popular, and but I think a lot of people just use their one free one from Amazon Prime. Because if you have Amazon Prime, you get one free Twitch subscription, and that's like giving like a creator like $5 a month or something around.
But then don't you get access to like different? I don't remember what Twitch emojis are called, but you get like some things are unlocked in Twitch when you become a paid subscriber of a channel. Is that? I'm like, I feel old, but
emojis, emojis, and then whatever the creator wants to do. But Neocromer says, I don't see the value of like, yeah, that's a great point. Neocromer is if you get value from something, you would happily pay, but like, do tweets provide enough value?
Depends on the content of the tweet. I mean, like if say like you, Chris, maybe you would do discount codes for your courses in there. So like you follow it, but maybe is that like a model that would be done?
I don't. So you have to pay to get my discount codes?
Or you just make a discount code specifically for those group of people, or like if you're gonna do it, you could do a giveaway or something. That's how Patreon does it. Like Patreon gives you more content, so I assume that people are going to use this kind of like in the Patreon model where there's exclusive content, and then like the way you access it would be maybe through that tweet, but that also seems like it could be leaked. I don't know. I have not put any thought into this.
I've gone down the rabbit hole in all this stuff, and really, you spend so much time trying to game the system and trying to figure out, well, if I put a tweet here, put a Patreon over there, blah, blah. It's like, look, just make great content and charge for it normally, like a course, or I don't know. I think people value the bigger, because they see more value in like a course or videos than, I think this is too micro.
It's interesting. We'll see. But I think you're right. We will totally see how this person got rich doing this, and we'll totally see those articles come out. So it's a curious thing. If you don't, and I guess the way I always go with it is, if you don't want to pay for it, don't pay for it.
Yeah. This revenue breakdown is interesting. There's a little jab at Apple. So they're breaking down what if you pay $4.99 for a super follow, the creator gets $3 US dollars and 39 cents. Twitter gets 10 cents, and Apple gets $1.50. Because
giant.
The interesting thing here is creator is eligible to take home up to this amount, so it could be lowers. So, Love Cash is here. Hey, Love Cash.
Hey, Love Cash.
Love Cash, what's up?
We're waiting on you. And our last story is the title of our episode. Hacktoberfest 2021 has officially been launched and announced.
Woo!
And we have our theme. I actually really like it this year. Those animations look so cool.
They are cool.
I didn't even. It has like. It looks like it has like a. Is that like a back? Like we have the animation, but then does it kind of like fade into the background there? I hadn't seen that yet.
Yeah. Well, these were added last night.
Okay, that explains why I haven't seen it yet.
Not sure why Chris knows, but yeah.
Let's just say the site's gone through a lot of changes in the last day. But so we also got the animations working on scroll, which is really cool.
That does look nice.
Yeah. For those who don't know, what is Hacktoberfest?
Go right ahead. Hacktoberfest is our annual celebration of open source. It's a program that DigitalOcean has done for 8 years now, and it is a opportunity for you to get involved in the open source community. So the way that it works is you will sign up later in the month when we near October, and if you complete 4 valid pull requests within the month of October, we will send you a Hacktoberfest t-shirt with this really awesome logo, and then some sticker packs with some very custom swag. And it's just a great way to encourage people to learn about how to do Git, learn how open source works, how open source maintainers like how they do their job and all of that. And it's just a great opportunity for you as just a normal person to get to make some contributions. We will be sticking with our opt-in model. So if you're an open source maintainer and you want to have people help contribute during Hacktoberfest, you have to add the Hacktoberfest topic label to your GitHub repository. And then just get away to hacking. And if once your PRs are accepted or labeled as accepted, if you get 4 within the month, you will get a t-shirt. And we're super excited about that.
What if I've never contributed to open source before? Can I participate?
Yes, actually, this program is designed to help people get in. So I looked at a chat and lost my train of thought. For new people, so we will have all sorts of different resources training you on how to do your first PR. We're going to be doing a couple of live events as DigitalOcean on Twitch that will go over how to get your first PR. There's all sorts of resources. People are always happy to help. And yeah, it's a great time for newbies, but also for just seasoned veterans who have already been doing some open source contributions, and this is our way of showing a little bit of love back to you. And organizers, we'll have some special organizer features this year that we will discuss, I believe, at a later date.
Excellent. Let's see. Yoganth says, "Yay, GitLab this time." So yep, we've partnered with GitLab and GitHub, so it doesn't just have to be GitHub repositories, right?
Does it say that on the website now?
I believe so.
Awesome. Yay. I didn't know if I could say that yet or not. I haven't.
Well, Yoganth knows.
Yeah. So yes, we will be supporting GitLab this year. So in the past, we've only supported GitHub, but where this year we'll be happy to be going with GitLab as well.
Cool. Well, I'm excited. This is my first Hacktoberfest. I've always watched it go by before, being like, I should do that sometime. And so this is my year to
Mason,
participate in Hacktoberfest.
How many shirts do you all have?
Okay, so I have 2 that I earned, and then this one that I stole from the closet. Which this is the
Unacceptable, Mason.
2018. There was leftover swag, and I was like, I'm taking it. Now the thing is, I cannot find my last 2 years shirts, and I'm actually upset about that. And I have to go and locate them. We have a question, a great one in the chat. How do we prepare for Hacktoberfest? How do I learn to pull requests? Is that the correct word? Yes. If you would like to prepare for Hacktoberfest, if you go check out the DigitalOcean community tutorial site, we have a lot of tutorials on there. There is a open.
Actually, this site has, if we scroll down, I think there's a contributors section, and we have links to all of those places.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
I have not spent enough time looking at this site. So
Chris, can you scroll down and we can find that?
I think maybe the Learn More button takes you there.
There's also a resources page that has a lot of this stuff, and we'll be updating these pages every day from now until Hacktoberfest with like videos on how to do pull requests, resources on where to look for repos for like great first time pull requests to do. But lots of resources here. So definitely check out the site, sign up for the email newsletter, because we'll be sending out emails as far as getting started, resources, and all that stuff up until the event. But yeah, this is a great place. And that's a great question, because we should make more resources about that question.
Yeah. Also, if you're a Discord person, there is a Hacktoberfest Discord. So be sure to join the Hacktoberfest Discord. I think it's discord.gg/Hacktoberfest.
And there was questions about shirts. I believe last year, do you remember the tally on how many people completed?
I do not. There is a Hacktoberfest repo.
70,000?
Yeah, I would not worry about shirt limits or anything. I don't think since I've been here we've ever had that come up as an issue, but I could be wrong. There isn't a repo somewhere that shows like the amount of completions that we had last year. And I think you're right. I think in the ballpark it was around 50 to 60,000. I think it's actually on Matt's page. I think there's like a GitHub repo that talks about it.
I think it's a little higher. It's like 67.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of shirts.
Yeah. So we'll be talking about this a lot in the coming weeks, though. As Chris said, there'll be a lot more stuff that's added to this website. This is going to be an iterative process up until we launch, the program fully in October. It starts October 1st anywhere on Earth, which means that it kind of starts like September 30th, depending on where you live. And that will also be a Cloud Chats Day, and we will have our Hacktoberfest, extraordinaire. Yes. The person who's running Hacktoberfest will be joining us for that Cloud Chat. So a special September 30th Cloud Chats will be almost exclusively Hacktoberfest themed. And we'll have more information as we have about this throughout our next month's worth of episodes for sure. So while we're here, let's go ahead and move on to our next section, the section that everyone's always waiting for, true or false, because everybody always wants to win them some stickers. So if you've never played this game before, this is an audience participatory game. If you go to kahoot.it and enter in the pin that you see on your screen, 7577852, you can be entered in to win some Sammy stickers. I pose 10 true or false questions. out to my hosts, and we go through it, and the winner at the end gets a Sammy sticker pack. And if you've won before in the past, you get new prizes that I have. Only one person has claimed level 2 prizes. There are actually 10 tiers. So don't let yourself get discouraged because you have won before. You can always do it again. So Kahoot.it 757-7852. This week's theme is in honor of Hacktoberfest. This is our Git edition. We're going to be talking about Git. And while we wait on everyone to join, Kim is going to give us our word of the week, and our word of the week is botnet. So Kim, take it away.
Yes. So as Mason said, the word of the week is botnet. And so some definitions for you. A botnet is a string of connected computers coordinated together to perform a task. That can be maintaining a chat room, or it can be taking control of your computer. And so recently I've heard about botnets doing malicious things. So a different definition that sort of reflects that is a hacker may create a botnet for several different purposes, such as spreading viruses, sending email spam, or crashing web servers using a denial of service attack, so a DDoS attack. So it sounds like a botnet is just multiple computers sort of running the same script for a purpose, and the times we hear about it in the news are when it's hackers doing something bad.
I've actually never heard of a botnet in a positive context. I've always heard of it as a hacker context. It's a script that runs on your computer and you may not even know it's there. Very common for people who leave unsecured servers in the cloud or anything that's internet connected. Because your normal PC is usually behind a somewhat of a firewall, like through your modem and stuff, you're a little bit more secure there, but like open servers, people who use password auth on open servers on the internet tend to get their accounts taken over in botnets. So great word. I love how we always get some good ones, good word of the weeks every week.
I like word of the week because I get to spend some time learning words that I've heard but maybe don't know the full definition of. So botnet.
Wow.
Ooh,
okay,
we got a lot of people.
It is gonna be a fight for some stickers and prizes today. So that is exciting. So I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Just so you know that even if you join in late, you can always continue to join in. Because it is, at the end of the day, it's just who gets the most right, but it's also not just about correctness, it's about speed. Both are taken into account. So yes, you could technically Google all of these answers, but by the time you do, if someone got it right before you, it's more likely that they will see it first, or that they will get the more points. Also, the answers are usually a bit delayed through stream, so be sure to watch your device, your phone or your computer, because you'll probably see the question quicker on there than you will through the stream. So without further ado, let's get started. 20 people. I think this is the most we've ever had. I'm excited. True or false Git edition. And here we go. First question. Git was created by Linus Torvalds for the development of the Linux kernel. Is this true or is this false? Was Git created by Linus Torvalds for the development of the Linux kernel?
I like that image.
Yes. Who else is surprised that I was able to find Git related images in public, openly used documents?
I am.
Yes. And I will tell you that's the only one that was there. So everything next.
All stock images for this, true or false, is that?
That's all I pretty much use. So this is true. Git was created in 1995 by Linus Torvalds because he wanted a better way of doing open source version control. And at the time, we had things like SVN and Mercurial and Perforce, but Linus decided to create Git. I do not believe he's at all established with the project anymore. I think he turned it over to someone for maintenance, because if you ever have maintained a very large open source project, you realize you really only have time in your life for one. So, next question. But it looks like social. Wow, look how close that is. We're within a 5-point difference. People are getting it right. Here we go. Next question. Every Git commit has an ID known as a SHA. And since I couldn't have any more Git-based images, you have to deal with dog memes, dog gifs for the rest of the episode.
I gotta meet this doggo.
I'm okay with that.
That is the best doggo. Yes, it is. So let's go ahead, and we have 15 people. Yes, this is correct. Every Git ID, every Git commit has a known ID as an ID known as a SHA, and it points specifically to the code. Kahoot pen. I should put that in the 1 minute. Actually, what is there? It is 757. 1 sec. I'm going to edit this real quick so that way if people still want to jump in, they can.
Yeah. Thanks for asking, Samuel.
Thank you. I forgot. I normally remember to do that. So it's going to be scrolling there at the bottom. Next question. Oh, where are we at? Oh, Golden Crane coming up. Bold Rhino and Wise Orcs. Did we ever figure out what an orcs is? Oh, it's the
Like
weird
deer.
It's a deer that has like an anteater face, right? It has like the little trunk.
Yeah, that sounds right. It's like black with white spots.
Yeah. Next question. Checking out a SHA will always give you the exact same code. This may be what happens when you don't know how to use Git. You have this look on your face.
I know how to use Git, and that's still the look on my face.
Yes, same. We've all gotten ourselves into jams with Git.
Yeah. This is true. Checking out a SHA will always give you the exact same code. A SHA is literally just a pointer to it's just a pointer to a commit. And I'll do where are we at? Oh, Bold Rhino, Wise Orcs. We're seeing a lot of movement here. Speed. A lot of people don't know these answers, so we're definitely seeing some speed being the thing here. They're about to get a little bit more tricky and a little bit more technical. Every commit in Git has a parent. Does every commit in Git have a parent? I'm loving these GIFs.
They make me feel good.
This is false. It's almost true. Every commit has a parent except the first commit. That would be the root commit. It cannot have a parent. So almost every commit in Git has a parent, but not every single one. The root itself does not. Oh, Bold Rhino holding up, but Polite Stork and Winged Dragon coming up. Next question. A branch is merely a pointer to a commit. Is a branch merely a pointer to a commit?
Mason, did all of these facts, were they in your brain or did you use a resource?
I will talk about the resource in a minute. Because as you know, whenever I write these, I tend to turn around and look at my bookshelf for inspiration. This is true. A branch is merely a pointer to a commit. If you go into any Git repository in the .git file, and if you went to say .git refs/head/main, which would be your commit, it's literally just a text file with the commit, with the commit hash. That's all it is. A branch is merely a pointer to a commit. And while I'm here, how did I know these? Julia Evans's
so good.
Beautiful Zines. This one is called Oh Shoot Git. So I can't say. There actually are two different versions depending on your thing, but these are her amazing comic books that are based on just how to do regular Git stuff. And I read through this yesterday, and I feel like I understand more about Git in 10 minutes of reading this than I do in 10 years of software engineering experience. So I highly recommend you go look them up.
Julia Evans is a hero of mine, and I have
me too.
I have the collection of Zines that she's done. So
I have every single one. I love them. I always learn something from them.
They're so dense. They're like have cartoons and look nice, but sometimes I'm like, that half page has a ton of information in it.
Yes, there is an art to being able to communicate complex concepts in a very simple manner, and I feel like Julia just knocks that out of the park.
Yeah, absolutely.
GetClean will pull down the most recent commit from a remote.
Oh, I don't know about GetClean.
Will GetClean pull down the most recent commit from the remote?
Even a thing.
Sneaky.
You can have a dog with a fidget spinner. This is false. GetClean deletes files that aren't tracked by Git. Git pull brings down the most recent commit from the remote branch. From the remote, not branch, the remote, I guess, location.
Oh, I could see how GetClean could be handy every once in a while.
Yes, you can totally just remove all non-tracked files, which is pretty nice. Yep. Bold Rhino and
use it judiciously.
Bold Rhino and Polite Stork are holding it. That's neither of you two, is it?
No.
Good, because Chris was doing great last week. We had to slow him down. Head is the current commit on the remote. Is head the current commit you have on the remote?
Look at that doggo.
Sabin, I've used this that command a ton, way more than I'd like to say. And
also,
yes,
Farshin chops. We totally read chat.
Oh yeah.
Welcome.
This is false. GetHead is not the current commit on the remote. GetHead is the commit that you currently have checked out locally. You can change the head on your local commit versus the remote. And then you would have to update the remote to the current head. This is how you would say reset something. So, and then Quartz asks, is GetReset hard worse than a GetClean? I think GetReset hard will like reset everything tracked and untracked versus a GetClean, which only cleans up clean files. Tracked files. So, also, this is the most nerve-wracking one I've ever done because, like, I did this and I read it and I think I understand it, but I still don't feel 100% confident in Git. So, oh, look, Sabin. Thank you, Sabin. GetReset hard will leave untracked file as it is. Great. Thank you for letting me know.
Cool.
I learned something new too. Okay. And Bold Rhino's still on a hot streak of 7. Polite Stork, but it's anybody's game. I've seen it change. The command GetReset hard head ~16 will reset the branch to 16 commits ago. Also, someone asks for that they need these GIFs. I literally just Googled dog in Giphy and just started bringing them in. So will GetReset hard head 16 reset the branch to 16 commits ago? This is true. This is how you would reset something back in time to a different commit, and then you could push up. This would be a way to revert a commit if you wanted to. Or like go back to a commit and then you would push forward to a force push, effectively deleting the old commit. Bold Rhino's still going, but Polite Stork still there. Next question. It is impossible to add a file to a commit. Chunky dog. It is impossible to add a file to a commit. This is false. You can amend things to your Git commit. So Git commit ~amend will allow you to just amend things. So if you say you make a commit and you're like, oh no, I forgot to add this untracked file, you can simply amend the commit and add it in. Adding the ~no-edit will allow you to amend this commit and not have to change the commit message. So if you did git commit ~amend ~no-edit, you could add something to it, and you would be fine with, and you could just add it in and not have to change the commit message. Oh, here's hoping. Last question. You can remove a file from a Git commit.
A lot of Git questions for you, Mason.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Mason.
Yeah, Mason.
I know. So it will. So yes, it will change the hash. But to my knowledge, it will not be 2 commits with 2 different hashes. I think it replaces the previous one and changes the hash, and the other the previous hash will not be tracked. I could be wrong. If I open up my page and we look for it, it's right here. It's this page. So this page is where I got the question from. That was, yes. I will change the SHA because the SHA is a cryptographic algorithm based on the files. So yes, anything like that will change the SHA, but I think that it will just replace it instead of having 2 commits. So you can remove a file from a Git commit. This is true. Git rm -- cached file name, and then git commit amend will allow you to remove it. So Aquatic Elk was 3rd. Polite Stork is 2nd. And our number 1 is Bold Rhino.
Yay.
So Bold Rhino, if you have won, you should email me with a screenshot of your winning and your mailing address so I can send you sticker packs. Be sure to include your complete mailing address. That includes postal code. People always forget the postal code. So if you won, take a screenshot of your screen, email it to me, and I will send you the stickers as soon as I can. For those of you that have won stickers in the past, depending on your geographic region in the world, sometimes, like if you're in, I think our shipping thing is out of the continental US. So like if you're in the US, you get them quicker. If you're not, they're coming. And I will, if I see that you're not in the US, I usually send you the tracking info because sometimes it can take a couple weeks. I've definitely seen that.
Yeah.
So thank you for winning.
Thank you for winning. You're welcome.
Thank you for playing.
Thank you for playing. I cannot read and I cannot read chat messages and talk at the same time.
It's hard.
It's hard sometimes. So Saban, if you haven't gotten them yet, just email me and let me, because I don't remember your name off the top of my head, and I'll check. I should have a tracking ID and I should be able to find it for you. So that is all we have time for that today. Let's move on to our next section, which I believe is our lightning tutorial. This is where Kim is going to show us how to use the DigitalOcean Container Registry. So Kim, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So I'm going to hopefully be showing you how to, push a Docker image to the DigitalOcean Container Registry. Even though I work a lot in Kubernetes, I don't actually have a whole ton of experience like building applications and containerizing them with Docker. So there may be some rough edges here. I did a live stream earlier this week where I got stuck in a jam, but that's okay. So a container registry is where you can save container images, and then the container image lives up there. You can tag it, give it versions, and then it allows you to control permissions about who can pull that image. And so on DigitalOcean, you can pull images into a Kubernetes cluster, but you can also pull images using App Platform. So if you're developing applications, you might want to containerize it and push the image into a registry. So I have the DigitalOcean Container Registry documentation up. I'm just going to scroll through some of this. I already have a registry. It's my username, Kim Schles. So I'm going to go to push your registry. So on the left side of my screen, I have a project called Sammy Jaeger. It has two different applications in it, a front end and a back end. And I want to push the back end application to the container registry. So I'm going to go to back end. And I guess before I go on, some other examples of container registries are the Docker Hub. Quay is one. I assume like GitHub, I think GitHub has a new container registry and GitLab have them. So there are lots of options. All right, so this is what I want to do, push to your registry. So it says to push a Docker image to your registry, install Doctal and authenticate with an API token. So let me see, I've got Doctal installed. That's the DigitalOcean command line tool. And I'm pretty sure I am logged into my registry, but let's take a look. Looks like I am good there. All right, next thing, I'm going to use the Docker tag command to tag your image with the fully qualified destination path. So I have already built this Docker image. If I do Docker image ls, ooh, that's hard to read. Let me make that full screen. So this, let's see, my backend app, maybe, there it is. Okay, so I've already built the image. I already added like my container registry name, and I've got that there. And so I'm going to clear this, and I want to tag it specifically. Oh, maybe I've done that. Let's find out. So Docker tag my image. Oh, I should grab the Docker image ls. Right. Grab all of that. While I'm doing that, Mason and Chris, when do you guys use images like this?
You mean when do we use DOC? When do we push to DOCR?
Yeah, that, and also like when do you use Docker or some other technology to containerize images?
I love using DOCR to push images to app platform. The deployment is just way faster. You don't have to wait on the build or the upload. Like, so if you're trying to like squeeze some performance deployments out of DigitalOcean app platform, then it's really helpful to do it to use DOCR and just deploy directly from there. I usually use it if I'm having to do I guess I would call it multi-language commits or multi-language things. Like if the base build pack and app platform can't satisfy it and I need to do something wonky with it, I'll just build my own image and push it.
Cool. Thank you. What about you, Chris?
Mine's a short answer. I don't.
Nice.
No,
that's great.
Yeah, since I lean more on the front end side, I just haven't really done too much back end lately.
Cool.
Or container stuff lately.
Not a problem. All right, so now I'm gonna Docker push, hopefully, to, oh, come on. DOCR. All right, looks like it's working. Take some time. And so I'm going to go to my DigitalOcean Cloud account and we'll see if we can see it there. So I've got cloud.digitalocean.com. If I go to container registry, all right, these are old, so it looks like it's still uploading. Let's see.
There it is.
Ah, there it is. There's my
Sweet.
DO visit counter backend. And so the way that I would use this is if I have a DigitalOcean managed Kubernetes cluster, it makes it really easy to enable permissions so that I can pull that image into that cluster and then deploy as many instances as I want of this application. But yeah, that is how you push a Docker image to the DigitalOcean container registry. It's very similar to pushing it to Docker Hub or Quay. But that is the lightning tutorial for the week.
Nice.
Awesome. I love DOCR. It's been one of my favorite projects. And fun fact, I'm the one who wrote the Terraform provider support for it, and it was a lot harder than you think.
Nice.
But I did really enjoy that. Thank you for that, Kim. I always love seeing some of the more lesser known parts of DigitalOcean's product offering.
Yeah.
So now we're going to move on to another segment called Back in My Day. This is the time where we look back fondly at the tech of yesteryear. We have to talk with that 1950s prospector's voice. And this segment's called Back in My Day. In this segment, we look back on combined words, significant historical. I said, wow, significant historical events in tech, and just marvel at just how far we've come. And we feel a little bit old because we probably remember some of these. Now, however, I will say most of these happened before I was born, so I don't feel old today. Well, or they did, or I was too young to have remembered them at all. So let's start with our first message, our first one of the day, and this goes back to August 25th, 1991, which is Happy 30th Birthday to Linux. Birth of Linux, Linus Torvald posted a message in an internet news group, comp.os.minix, with the subject line, "What would you like to see most in Minix?" This is the first announcement that he was working on an operating system that will one day become Linux. This is very much considered the birthday of Linux, and as you can see, 1991, it is 30 years old today. Definitely an operating system that has changed the world. So if we hadn't said it in a previous episode, which I think we might have, but not, we'll keep saying it again. Happy birthday, Linux.
That's interesting, because if anybody has ideas these days, it's usually like in Slack or Discord, and you're not finding that message after like a week.
News groups and mailing lists are amazing because they preserve the history. And I know a lot, like even like Python core dev still does, and Linux group, and a lot of people still use the mailing list as their primary mechanism. And you think it seems a little bit odd, but no, it preserves, because you're right. You'll never find that message again in Slack. It's gone. It doesn't exist in a public forum. So yeah, it's cool that we still have like the exact message that he sent.
That's a good observation, Chris.
Yeah. Makes me a little bit more sad about using Discord now. Okay, so our next one.
You've got mail.
I love that transition. Comes from September 1st, 1977. In honor of Matt not being here, we did something space related. Because as you know, Matt loves space. Pioneer 11 becomes the first man-made object to fly by Saturn. So this was the first time that we had sent something into space that went by Saturn.
Wow. Is that a picture from Pioneer 11?
I would hope so. But I cannot tell you definitively because I have just as much information as this.
Go buy a telescope.
I tried one once when I was a kid. I never could do anything.
Well, the new ones, don't you just like input what you want to see and they're like, blah, blah,
ooh, cool.
they, like find it for you?
I would be into.
Yeah. I can see Jupiter and Saturn in my backyard every night, like visible. It's like, I want to see them closer.
Yeah. I can see them as well.
Interesting. So yeah, I don't know. I think Toon Army Captain says the Pioneers were amazing. There must have been I think there were a lot of different Pioneer spacecraft that brought back images. So that actually could be from it. And then Dev asks, does BBS predate news groups? I honestly have no idea. All of that happened before I was born. Probably before anyone on this call was born. Because that's like late 70s, early 80s tech. And our next one we have is from September 2nd, 1993. The world's first primitive web search engine is started, known as the W3 catalog or the CUI www catalog. It was started by Oscar Neerstrass at the Centre Universidad de Informatique of the University of Geneva. Okay. The search site lasted about 3 years before being modernized search engines began to appear. And that's actually not even a picture of it. They don't have a picture of it. People have not been able to find one, but the first search engine came around in 1993. This is the period of time when like the mass public was just getting on to the internet. Like I think it wasn't until the early 90s that the internet became available, like America Online and stuff like that, where people could actually get online and it wasn't just a research tool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm older than both of you, but I remember having internet access at school and at home in like 1995, 96. So can you imagine a life without search engines?
I can still remember a life without the internet. And I think that's the thing that scares me the most about the current generations is that they will never know that. They will never know what it's like to not have the internet. And
well, when you had to do a research paper, you had to go to the library and just pick random books and look around.
Yeah. Yeah. When was the last time? So I was watching that 70s show the other day and they were making a big deal about they're going to order the World Book. They're going to order encyclopedias for the house. And I'm like, when was the last time that used to be a thing? You used to keep a set of encyclopedias in your house so you could look stuff up. When was the last time anybody
Well, a lot of public libraries had like research divisions where you could call and say like, hey, can you get me some information about this topic? And the person would like be like, yes, and then they would go and pull the books and like pull some information out and then call you back. So yeah, we live in different times. I mean,
that is hard to believe.
I'm sure there's upsides and downsides to it,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I can't imagine life without search engines.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Now I'm feeling reminiscent.
I do think fondly of that time though, where all we had to do was just build tents out of AOL disks.
Yes. Did have a
Oh
lot
my
of
goodness.
CD-ROMs with AOL on them.
So our next one, and we are here
Ooh.
in our You've Got Mail. eBay was founded on September 3rd, 1995. The online auction site eBay is launched as AuctionWeb by Pierre Omidyar. The first item sold, a broken laser pointer, wasn't actually intended to sell, but rather to test the new site itself, started as a hobby. That's a weird way of praising that. Surprised that the item sold for $14.83, Omidyar contacted the buyer to make sure he knew the laser pointer was broken, to which he replied, "I am a collector of broken laser pointers." From that first $14.83, the founder is now worth billions of dollars. That's a fun one. eBay is one of the few websites that I have not used a lot in my life. I think I've bought 2 things off of it. It always just seemed to sketch me out a little bit. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
But
I've used it a bunch to sell too, and you just gotta know what you're looking for. Lots of stars, lots of ratings.
yeah, I just don't think I don't really sell my stuff. I hoard it. I keep it. It's my precious.
I don't know when Craigslist came out, but I use things now like Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, I think, to do what I might have done on eBay in the late 90s.
Could you imagine if this was early too, so how did this person just randomly happen upon this random new website to find a random broken pointer?
That is a little bit weird, but you know what? If that might be the beginning of the weird stuff on the internet. So our next story comes out of the land of big old computers. September 4th, 1956, the IBM 350 disk storage unit Model 1 was announced, which was the first commercially available storage unit to use magnetic disk storage, the technology behind disk drives. About the size of 2 refrigerators and weighing about a ton, the 350 could store 4 to 5 megabytes depending on how it was calculated. Megabytes. I can't even take a picture on my iPhone for less than that now. The 350 was an integral part of the IBM RAMAC 305 computer, which would be introduced 9 days later on September 13th. The RAMAC 305 and 350 disk storage unit were designed to replace the punch card tube file system that was the primary means of storing repeatedly accessed data. Old computers fascinate me.
Totally. I mean, you can literally see the magnetic discs in this,
and they're this
in
big
the tube
around.
in the middle.
Yeah, like they're this big around, and it held 5 megabytes. That's not even a small size website these days with how much images are on them and stuff.
Yeah.
Like how far we've come.
Yeah, how far we've come. 1956 was a while ago, but geez.
Yeah.
This next one's a little more recent, and it's still how far we've come.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about that. September 7th, 2005, Apple introduces the iPod Nano, effectively replacing the iPod Mini, which I actually had the Mini, and I love the one that clipped on, that was like that big, and not the one that clipped on with the screen, the one with 2 buttons, left and right, and volume up and down, so 4. So this move surprised many in the industry as the iPod Mini was extremely popular. However, the use of flash storage instead of a hard drive allowed for much smaller form factor, increased reliability, and better battery life. That's a fun fact. Those original iPods had spinning discs in them.
That is bonkers.
Yeah, that is bonkers. These improvements proved extremely popular with consumers as 1 million units were sold within the first 17 days. The pioneering use of flash storage in a consumer electronic device paved the way for its use in many future Apple product designs, such as the iPhone, iPad, and flash storage-based MacBooks. And let's just say it just paved the way for everything. Now flash storage is in everything. So if this was like one of the first things that used flash storage commercially, it paved the way for the use of flash storage in commercial applications and small devices.
Amazing.
It is pretty amazing.
And now I have a phone that does all of this and more.
And I listen to less music than I ever did in the past. So the iPod. No, I had the iPod Nano, not the Mini. I had the Nano. And the thing that stunk the most about that Nano was the original one that clipped on and stuff. Its data transfer was through the aux cord. So like it had this little special dock and like the headphone jack, that's how it did data transfer. So if you broke or lost that connector, you like there was no like, oh, let me just grab a spare USB-C or a spare lightning adapter or the old Mac, like, you know, regular phone adapter. It was this weird, unique, rare thing. And I broke one once. And it took me like 6 months to replace it. So I was just listening to, and actually, I think that's also how it charged. So I couldn't even charge the thing either. But yeah, that is what
in chat. Yeah, we got Dev saying I missed the clicky buttons. It's true. Just that, like, they've tried to make like haptic feedback and stuff, but
it doesn't work.
Buttons
doesn't work. I still miss T9 text. Does anyone else miss like? I could type a storm. I'm still quicker with one thumb on T9 text than I ever am. Like, and I'm not saying you should text and drive. Texting and driving is bad, but texting and not paying attention. Maybe you're talking to someone and trying to text at the same time. I miss every key because there's no reference point on flat glass, but I never missed a beat on T9 text.
They used to have T9 texting competitions that were like, you would be like, all right, you have to text this string, go, and it would be like teenagers on their like flip phones using T9. I don't think I got a smartphone relatively late. I think my first smartphone was in 2013.
Oh, that is late. Yeah,
I resisted it as long as I thought was reasonable. But I just don't think I texted all that much on my flip phones. I did have one phone with the keyboard, and that was nice. I like the buttons.
Yeah. I'm going to highlight. So I agree with texting and driving is bad. You should never do it. But I 100% agree with this.
But if you did.
But if you have to choose.
But I could. It's a bad thing. But I didn't. I never had to look. I could text by feel, and I could keep my eyes on the road. It was great. I got a smartphone. That was actually what I asked for my high school graduation present. I think the iPhone 4 had just come out in like 2011. And my mom was like, what do you want for a graduation present? I was like, I don't know. I was like, can I have an iPhone? I was like, yeah. So that's how I got started in that. Like, went off to college, had an iPhone. Thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
That is cool.
That's how you get that thing on your hip and you'll never not have a phone again.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why I resisted. I was like, once I have internet in my pocket, there is no going back.
They're really
The next thing is internet in the brain.
That's what Elon's going for.
I'm in. Do it.
I'll be like Kim. I'm gonna resist. Neuralink scares me. And since we've already moved on to what's on your mind, I guess we'll just add the music and just keep chatting. So our final segment of the day before we go into just like what's coming up and stuff is our What's on Our Mind channel, or segment where we just talk about what's on our mind. And as we just got done, I guess we can keep talking about internet in the brain. But we'll start with Chris today. If he wants to keep talking about that, we can. If not, he can go to his little topic.
Yeah, let me real quick. Sabin says, is the iPod discontinued? It looks like they're still going.
They still sell the iPod Touch because, and I know some people use them as like, they want like some of the features of the iPhone, but they don't want the phone capability.
Yeah.
It would make for a great remote. Really expensive one, but...
I've known people who will like get rid of a smartphone, but then buy an iPod to be able to connect to Wi-Fi and like do some chatting, but they want to kind of reduce their smartphone dependence. So
it's not a bad idea. I can see that.
What's on my mind? I had something, but Latjar over on Twitch has a very... I agree with this. I feel like so much music is just the same stuff these days. Of so much market research. Like at this point, we need to hit this note. At this point, we need to do this, and we'll sell. And I feel like that's a sad thing to see.
As Kim and I are both classically trained musicians and both have music degrees, we can and I loved music history. I had an amazing music history professor. It's not a class that you would think you would like, but I can point this back all the way to the mid of the 16th century. It's been this way for a long time. It may not seem it. There are certain songs that have bad words in them that I can't say on stream that are the melody is 100% a rip from a Mozart piece. Like it's the exact same melody as a Mozart, as like one of Mozart's famous pieces. So it seems that way to a lot of people, but this has been happening for about 500 years.
Yeah. I agree with both of you, Chris and Latjor. But I think I learned this because when you get a degree in music, you have to listen to a lot of music you might not choose to listen to. Like, I kind of appreciate like the extremely produced nature of those things and how they've like figured out like, oh, people will really like this and that. It's not necessarily like the music I listen to all the time, but I try to have like an appreciation for it.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting for sure. I could go on for that for hours, but I think that's its own segment. Chris, what else is on your mind?
Well, I'm just going off of what Latjor is saying. Can't remember the last time I bought a movie ticket. I went last night to see Shang-Chi, and I enjoyed it. So
I went and saw Mortal
That's
Kombat
it.
in theaters. It wasn't worth it, but I did it.
if you're looking for martial arts, I would give Shang-Chi the nod over on those two options.
I'm down.
In the US, is it only available in theaters or is it also on video on demand?
I wish it was like the Disney Plus, but theaters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What's up, Heck? Yeah, so let's go for Kim.
Cool.
What's on your mind?
Well, the first thing I want to say is hello to Coding Garden fan, who I live streamed this week and I had like one person watching and I think it was Coding Garden fan. So I too am a fan of Coding Garden with CJ. CJ and I used to work together. He's an incredible streamer and an incredible tech educator. So shout out to him. But the thing that's on my mind, I'm going to share my screen, is this article from Protocol, and it's just talking about how older workers get discriminated against in tech. And it reminds me of how people of marginalized genders and ethnicities get discriminated against, and it's a lot of unconscious bias, but just something to keep in mind, especially as we age. Yeah, that's what's on my mind. Oh, and I'm going on vacation next week, also on my mind.
I bet that's front and center on your mind. Like everything else, it's Thursday morning. Like the week is essentially over, right, Kim? Like,
well, we are all so busy right now, the DevRel team at DigitalOcean. So I'm actually just like, I just need to get this work done and then I can go on vacation. So yes, a mountain of work is also on my mind.
good for you, yeah.
Real quick on off of LinkedIn, Alex Payton. Database connections for App Platform to manage databases as of, I think, a week and a half ago are now able to be secured. So that is out in the public and you can try it out now.
Well, secured in the, I guess you would say secured in the way is that now they're like, you can
Trusted sources.
Trusted sources. I mean, yeah. A strong password and SSL TLS is a connected. I would not call that a vulnerability. I would call it, maybe it wasn't the best of practices, but a vulnerability is that data could have been publicly sniffed, which is not true. That data, it's just that the encrypted data was traveling over a publicly internet space instead of being a trusted source. So to call it a vulnerability, I would be like, but is it a best practice? No, but we have it now. And it's a cool feature, and I'm really happy. And I'm playing with my lighter for some reason. I don't know why I do this.
Mason.
I stream Mason.
Are you okay?
I fidget. I have I have this, like it's a little like magnetic.
Oh yeah, I have one of those.
I fidget and like I don't know why, but like I have a candle on my desk because I like my office to smell nice, and sometimes I just fidget with lighters. On my mind today, I don't know. I walked outside to take the trash out this morning, and it is a beautiful fall Texas day, and I was happy. Like I walked outside, it's probably in like the mid to high 70s. The sun is shining, but it's not trying to fry me. Or it could be the mid to low 80s. I'm so used to 95 to 100 degree temperatures that 80 feels like a breeze. It felt cooler outside than it did in my house. And I keep my house pretty low. So I walked outside. It was just a beautiful day, and I was like, oh, I really like that. And it kind of perked me up a little bit. I was like, okay, it's gonna be a nice day today. I'm hoping that sometime during lunch I can take my dog down. We have like this retaining pond that's like literally like maybe 30 yards from my front door. Maybe farther. I'm bad at judging distance. We'll say 50. But it's like there's never any water in it, but it's this huge, and it goes down, and someone mows the bottom of it because like it doesn't actually hold water. And it's a great place for me to take take Loki, and like it's big, so I can throw his ball and he'll run very far. Like I can exercise him. So I might during my lunch break today, I might take Loki out and get him a run since it's such a nice day. And Andrew here, who is literally lives like probably like 30 minutes down the road from me, he says it was 70 here this morning in Austin. So that makes sense. That explains why I walked outside. Beautiful. I was really happy. So it's not always terribly hot here in Texas, just most of the time. Just August is a bad month. Like everyone always talks about summer months being hot. June, July are nothing. August is when you can when I used to do summer band in high school or even in college, we used to put foil on the top of our vehicles and we would leave cookie dough out, and after a 4-hour marching band practice we'd have baked cookies.
Oh, that is hot.
Yeah,
I can do that today. We're rocking 100 here in Vegas.
Oh my goodness! If I leave on I'm going on vacation in a couple weeks, and I'm going to swing through and see Chris in Vegas. And if I get to Vegas and it's hotter in Vegas than it is in Texas, I'm going to be upset with you. So you need to call your weatherman, Chris. You need to tell them to change the weather for when I'm in town.
I'm on it. That's my first PR for Hacktoberfest.
Getting the weather change. If anyone could do it, I believe in you. Okay, well, let's move on to our final little bit of wrap up in segments. It's upcoming events and joke of the day. So, Kim live streams.
I live stream on Tuesday afternoon. I am off next week, but I will be back the Tuesday after at 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, awesome. That's great. Chris live streams every other Wednesday at time. It just says pound signs here
at times. Yeah. Still haven't solidified my schedule, but it is looking like Wednesdays is the thing. So just definitely check out our Twitch.
Yeah, our Twitch channel. So we'll be streaming on Twitch, which is DigitalOcean TV for those of you not there. I will be streaming on Thursdays, but I'm not starting until October because I'm going on a 2-week vacation coming up. Like Kim's gone next week, and then I'm gone for 2 weeks. So I'm not going to start streaming until I get back. So you'll be able to come and hang out with all of us individually on Twitch going forward, which we're super excited about. Kim, how was your first stream? How many have you done? Have you done 1 or 2 so far?
I've done 2. The first one was very good in terms of how well I did on the thing I was working on. My second one was also good, but I got stuck in some jams, and I'm still new to like live streaming coding and problem solving, so I got a little flustered. But that's how it goes. That's how I'm going to get better.
Yeah, how it goes. That's part of the fun. I love that. I love live streaming coding and people getting stuck because it proves that everyone gets stuck. You're not, if you're getting stuck on something, you're not alone. And on stream, I can't swear. So like I have to be nice. So
yeah. Well, what I've learned too is every time I get stuck, there's always somebody in chat that's willing to like fork my code and solve it for me. So it's kind of like free. It's pair programming, really.
Yeah, that's nice. That makes sense. I need to embrace that. I think I know streaming is very different, but I still want to be prepared and sort of know what I'm doing when I go in and stream. I don't have the time to prepare for those streams in that way. So it's definitely a different way of operating for me. Like letting go, being vulnerable, getting stuck, asking for help, all that stuff.
Yeah. And we're also, just so y'all know, we're streaming to the DigitalOcean channel. So we have our own, like Chris and I have our own Twitch. I don't know if Kim, do you have your own personal one?
No, not yet.
Not yet. And I don't stream to that one. We're mostly streaming to the DigitalOcean TV one. It's basically a way for us to just do our job in public. So you never know what you'll find with us. I know sometimes Chris and I prepare talks or prepare like presentations on stream. So what? Yeah, you'll never know what you're gonna see. Maybe one day I'll just show up and I'll just juggle for an hour.
I'd be into that.
I do think that like, or you can join me whenever I'm researching Cloud Chat's jokes, as we're about to get into now, because I ran out. I had to spend some time this week making more jokes. So, speaking of which, are we ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah, we're
Here
ready.
we go. So,
We're ready.
Why was the mobile phone wearing glasses? Because it lost its contacts.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I give that a respectable
Okay,
clap.
that is so boo. Well, thank you everyone for joining in. It's been great seeing you, and we'll see you all same time next week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.